Welcome back to the Sports Desk, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Splash. I'm Ryan. I'm whatever you want to call me. I'm joined by my friend Jack. How's it going, Jack?
It's amazing. We're repping the Kings today in honor of Anze Kopitar getting his 1,000th point. We'll talk about that later because we got some hockey to talk about today.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I think I remember reading in like an SI Kids article that Kopitar eats a ton of pasta.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Like right before the game, he's just like down at a bunch of pasta. So what would your pregame meal be?
My pregame when I was
what did you eat before you came on the air?
String cheese.
The breakfast of champions, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
I had a burrito. Shout out to Highland Market. So yeah, and I have some food, I guess, that I need to eat. Anyways, we're gonna jump right into it. There's some hot debate on the Twitterverse today. PFF posted this graphic
with a popcorn emoji, so they know what's going on.
With the popcorn emoji, rank these 4 quarterbacks. We got Matt Ryan. We got your boy, Matt Stafford. We got Dak Prescott. And we got Josh Allen. What are we thinking? Let me throw it in the chat. 1 for Matt, 1 for Ryan, 2 for Stafford. Should have had this prepared. 3 for Dak, 4 for Allen.
I didn't really think about this too much on like after I sent this to Splash and I was like, we need to talk about this. I was like, how do I rank these guys? Because I'd say Josh Allen probably number 1, especially considering what he gave us last year. Number 2 is kind of tough. I don't know whether to give it to Stafford or Dak. And I mean, it's hard to think about. It really is, because like all of them have their pros and their cons, but Josh Allen definitely had the better performance when it came to last season. Obviously taking the Bills. How far did they went to the AFC?
Yeah, they went to the AFC title game, lost to Kansas City. You know, I think Allen has to be the leader here. I like this tweet by Goodberry. Verified at Joe Goodberry. Allen, Dak, Stafford, Ryan. I happen to agree with that. You know, you got to go Allen first. He played an MVP caliber level last season. Then I think you go Dak. I think Dak is a top 8 quarterback. I know he's coming off an injury. I get it, but when he played, he was killing it. He was top 5 in my quarterback power rankings. I think he's a stud. Matt Stafford, he might be top 5 this year. With Sean McVay, with Robert Woods, with Cooper Kupp, with a great running game, but he's not there yet. He hasn't shown it yet. And then I think Matt Ryan brings up the rear here. And projection, I'm going to say Stafford's better than Dak, but who knows? You know, who knows?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, obviously, we know what Matthew Stafford has to offer. It's weird saying like, can a QB be in his prime when he's in his 30s? Because like, I mean, that's probably what the situation might be with Matt Stafford, because he's basically, a lot of people would say, has kind of wasted his career away in Detroit, because Detroit's been full of abysmal coaching staff's words over the past couple of years. Now he's going to be with Sean McVay, with Kevin O'Connell. I don't know who the QB coach is, but I think Kevin O'Connell, I know he's the offensive coordinator, but bottom line, under Sean McVay's coaching staff, I think we're going to get a hell of a lot better things from Matt Stafford this year. So this is his year to break into the top 5, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he has a better performance than Dak. I'm sure the Rams will have a better record than the Cowboys this year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, quarterback wins aren't everything, but I think this year is one year that Stafford is really going to, you know, if you guys go 12-4, 12-5, 13-4, Stafford's going to be a big reason why. Stafford, I don't know what his MVP odds are, but watch out. He may get some MVP consideration this season. And we're going to transition real quick. Speaking of MVP consideration, this made me really mad when I saw it today. None other than my guy, AL MVP all over the place. Shout out to Michael Pineda there. But Buxton is injured again. will we ever see a full, even 140, 150 games out of Byron Buxton?
It's a good question. Yeah, that's really unfortunate to hear that happened again, and especially because this is a guy I don't know too much about because I'm kind of a casual on baseball. Like I follow the Dodgers hardcore, but that's about it. But I mean, where was the injury on that highlight? It was like
that was just a highlight. He didn't get injured on that. He has a lat. No, DeGrom has a lat strain. We'll get to DeGrom in a second, but.
Oh yeah, DeGrom getting hurt is also pretty rough to see.
Yeah, DeGrom getting hurt sucks, but I believe it was maybe an elbow with Buxton. I'm not 100% sure. I'll pull up the injury real quick.
Oh yeah, and my man, who was it? Dustin May. It was Dustin May who had Tommy John surgery, so he's done for the year.
Right. Yeah. So the Minnesota Twins play center fielder Byron Buxton on the injured list with a grade 2 hip strain, not elbow, on Friday, and he will likely miss weeks, according to Rocco Baldelli, the manager. He was the American League Player of the Month in the same month that Mike Trout, like that guy had his best month ever, and Byron Buxton was Player of the Month. Now, granted, Player of the Month, whatever, but it means something when your competition is Mike Trout, and Mike Trout had the best month of his career, and Buxton still beat him. So it sucks for baseball. It sucks for the Twins. They're really struggling right now. I saw a stat the other day. They were winless in games that didn't go 9 innings. So doubleheaders, they just lost all of them. Extra inning games suck.
That's a rough stat.
So I think they were like 11-7 in normal games and like 0-11 in extra innings or doubleheaders. So it was ugly performance there when it's not 9 innings, which is one of the goofiest things I've ever seen. And it just bums me out because you have a guy like Buxton, a superstar player. He does everything on a baseball field you want him to do, and he can't stay healthy. And like I understand, I got into an argument on Twitter the other day with a guy. He said, "Oh, Buxton has a 750 career OPS." I'm like, who cares? He's a superstar, and he's out again. So, you hate to see it. There are actually a slew of injuries that we're going to talk about. I have a clip of Jacob DeGrom talking about his recent lat strain. He missed a start the other day. I'll throw that up.
I was a little bit more sore after my last start. Didn't think too much of it. Like I said, I noticed my mechanics were off. Looked at some of the video and got some of the numbers, and my arm was down a little bit, and like I said, flying open. So that's obviously going to put more stress on my arm. But didn't think too much about it. Went about all my recovery stuff, and to be honest, I felt pretty good. I threw my bullpen in Philly and was like, okay, I feel pretty good. Then we got here, first day here, woke up and I noticed my lat was pretty sore. So I told him then, and then I said, hey, we'll see how it is tomorrow. I just want to give you a heads up. And then woke up yesterday and didn't really notice much of an improvement to it. And I was like, hey.
So DeGrom missed a start, got scratched the other night, and he's on that historic pace. I think he has 59 strikeouts through 5 starts, I believe, which tied the record with Nolan Ryan. So sucks to see a superstar like DeGrom. You could argue he's NL MVP. Obviously, I'm going to back my man Acuna. I have the mask today. Actually, yeah, I do have the mask today. Acuna. I'm gonna back my man Acuna, but I can totally see you voting for DeGrom if you have to. So, yeah, shout out to Alec in the chat. And shout out to John Means. He threw a no-hitter, 27 up, 27 down. One of the most dominant pitching performances I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see. There's been a lot of no-hitters this year already.
Yeah, 3. You had Rodon of the White Sox. You had my guy, Joe Musgrove, and then you have Alec's guy, John Means. And again, 27 up, 27 down, no walks, no hit by pitches, no errors. He did have a dropped third strike, and then he immediately caught the guy stealing. So it's not a perfect game, but it is one of a kind. And then
it's one of those close ones.
Yeah.
Like how the was it who was it that came close in San Diego to getting one?
The other, like a couple days ago?
Couple weeks ago. I think we brought this up on the show. Was it even San Diego, or was it the guy? It was the guy whose perfect game got ruined by hit by pitch.
Oh yeah, that was Rodon.
Rodon, yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of reminded me of that a little bit. It's like, oh, you're so close, but it's still a very impressive performance, a great result to keep the no-hitter intact. So
Yeah, and there's ways to judge how dominant a pitcher is, and I like to look at expected batting average and number of hard hit balls. So John Means allowed one hard hit ball that's over 90. I think it's over 95 miles per hour. One hard hit ball the entire game. That Seattle wasn't making good contact, and he struck out 12. He had generated a lot of swings and misses. There are fluky perfect games. Look at Alec Mills last year with the Cubs. There are walk a lot of guys, don't strike out a lot of guys. You get bailed out by your defense. This is one of the greatest games that, like Alex said, the best non-perfect game in history, and arguably you can say it's better than some perfect games. I've been blessed to see a couple like on TV, and there are times you don't actually think like, he's not pitching that, like he's pitching well, but he's not overpowering guys. He's not like on this ethereal plane of like greatness. I would argue John Means was on that ethereal plane of greatness yesterday. Was it yesterday? A couple days ago. Unbelievable performance, and great to see that from John Means. And yeah, right now he's in the thick of the AL Cy Young voting. We talked about DeGrom. He's probably the leader in this NL Cy Young voting. But exciting time to be a baseball fan, unless you're an Angels fan and unless you're an Albert Pujols fan.
Yes. Poor Albert Pujols. He's in the final year of his, I think, was it a 10-year contract?
Yes, it was a 10-year contract. He signed in 2012.
And he has been released by the Angels.
This is one of the ugliest contracts in the history of baseball. I think this is if you're signing a guy to a 10-year deal, this is a warning. Like, don't do it. It's a bad idea. Now, Pujols was on the wrong side of 30. I believe he's 41 now. He signed the contract when he was 31, 32. And like that's a bad idea. But there's also been some rumors that he's older than he says he is, which I don't want to get into right now. But the Angels, they played him so much as DH, as a first baseman, and it hurt the team because he struggled a lot most of the time, and he was a bad base. I don't want to say bad base runner. He was slow. So he was very smart. It's like that Brady thing that he knows what to do with the football, but he doesn't necessarily have the athleticism to actually do that thing with the football. But Albert Pujols was one of the slowest people in baseball. He's not legging out base hits. He's not legging out doubles. And then his power's eroded a little bit. His plate discipline's eroded a little bit. And he's just not quite the player he was. In St. Louis, he's a inner circle Hall of Famer. He is. You can throw him up there with Lou Gehrig as the greatest first baseman ever in his St. Louis days. But with the Angels, I know he had an OPS plus over 100. I know he had a couple solid seasons. He drove in a lot of runs for what that's worth. But I think it has to go down as a disappointment for the Angels.
Yeah. Question here now is, do you think he ends up on another team, or do you think he's retiring here?
I don't think Pujols goes anywhere. Alec in the chat says the Rockies are horrific anyways. They need to sign Pujols, let him play every home game at Coors for fun. I mean, that'd be cool. I might do that in MLB The Show, but yeah, I can't see Pujols getting another job because in the National League he can't. I don't think you're going to play him at first, so he would be strictly a pinch hitter. I guess American League, you could use him as a DH, but is he better than is he good enough at this point to be your everyday DH? I don't think so. And if he's on your bench, he is specifically there to be a pinch hitter and he can't play the field. So there are very few circumstances that I would see him working. I know one of my bosses for one of the places I write for said that he's better than Pablo Sandoval, and I just shook my head. So, he's not coming to the Braves, for example. I can't imagine any team they would want him. Like, that's cool. That would draw some fans, but he's not going to – at this point, he's not productive enough to be a valuable NFL or a valuable MLB player.
Yeah.
Like Alex said, the White Sox, which are the most logical choice, probably them or St. Louis. But St. Louis, no DH. And the White Sox have a million first basemen. They have the reigning MVP at first base. They have Andrew Vaughn, who is a catastrophe of a fielder, but they have to play him in left because, I don't know, you have the former MVP at first base, and you have a guy that's top 5 in probably going to be top 5 in MVP voting, and Yerman Mercedes is DH. So you're in a really screwy spot if you're the White Sox. So yeah. It's an ugly situation. But thank you, Albert, for I guess it's 21 years of baseball. You were one of my favorite players as a kid. 06 World Series, So
yeah, still overall, I would say a solid career overall.
Oh man, he's a first ballot Hall of Fame. He's I don't know if he gets in unanimously like Mo Rivera does.
Probably not.
But he's in 90%. I'd be shocked if he was under 90%.
Yeah, about 90%, I would say. Definitely.
He might even roll 95%. So I think that'll wrap us up for baseball talk. Yes, I believe.
I believe so. If something else comes up, we'll probably comment about it on the spot. But yeah, that's all we have planned for now for baseball.
All right. So let's jump into some hockey.
Yeah.
All right. So
hockey got a little ugly as of late.
I want you to break down this clip real quick.
Now let's watch the clip. Our man Tom Wilson.
Because I'll rewind it. Like right there, you just sucker punches. Right. I guess I missed.
Yeah, he wasn't kicked out. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't kicked out because the NHL has been terrible with this whole situation.
With like Tom Wilson's repeat offender. Like I'm not even the biggest hockey fan, and I know Tom Wilson, 43 Capitals, and just everyone hates him.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. This is why people hate Tom Wilson in one clip, and
like I think
the furthest extent of this was a $5,000 fine. Oof. No suspension. And then I need to find you this tweet that the Rangers released.
Yeah, I can look it up. I got it real quick. Rangers Wilson. Great. So, I mean, Tom Wilson is. Here we are. I'll read it out. The New York Rangers are extremely disappointed that Capitals forward Tom Wilson was not suspended for his horrifying act of violence last night at Madison Square Garden. Wilson is a repeat offender, I mentioned that, with a long history of these type of acts, and we find it shocking that the NHL and the Department of Player Safety failed to take the appropriate action and suspend him indefinitely. Wilson's dangerous and reckless actions caused an injury to Artemi Panarin that will prevent him from playing again this season. We view this as a dereliction of duty by NHL. I've never seen that in like text of duty by NHL head of player safety George Parros, and believe he is unfit to continue in his current role. That is strong words.
$250,000 fine, by the way, for that statement. and Tom Wilson, you see him like going after guys, and then the next clip that we're going to show you is the aftermath of all this because. Immediately after this happened, I think this game immediately became like the #1 watch game of the night, maybe even the season. I would say probably because no suspension. The Rangers are pissed. This is the start of the very next game. The very start of the game, you got 3 people dropping the gloves. Notice how the tallest guy on the ice and probably one of the more notorious guys, Zdeno Chara, is just standing there. He's just standing there, just completely disinterested in this anarchy.
And you have like 3 sets of guys just wailing on each other. It's like, I mean, obviously, I don't like Tom Wilson. I don't like what Tom Wilson did, and I'll end this clip. But I do think like the simultaneous fights are a little funny, and hockey fights are cool.
It's entertaining.
But I obviously don't want Panarin to be injured. He's one of the best players in the NHL, and it's just I don't know.
The way I see hockey fights, the way I see fighting in hockey is it's like a thing to kind of blow off steam, and it's like it's fine too because I think this is like the one sport where it's legal.
Well, you do get a 5-minute major penalty.
Yeah, you get a fight, but you know what I mean. Like it's illegal. Like in the NFL, you fight somebody, you get kicked out of the game.
Yeah. So here's the breakdown. So Wilson was fired $5,000. The Rangers were fired $250K, and 2 of their important personnel were fired.
Yeah, by the way, that the Rangers firing their president and GM was the most confusing thing ever. Like, what are they doing? It's the most ridiculous thing ever.
That's an ouch. That's an ouch.
Yeah.
But,
so to an extent, I'd say most people are just fine with fighting in hockey, but there's always when you allow that kind of thing and your only punishment is a 5-minute penalty, there are some real opportunities to cross the line, and I would say Tom Wilson absolutely crossed the line. He should have been suspended at least 3 games, maybe even 5, I would say. And this is not the first time. This is far from the first time where George Peros has just seen a situation like this and completely let it slide or made some kind of just the completely incorrect call. Like my mind as a Kings fan goes to the playoff series between the Kings and Golden Knights in 2018. I know Alex going to hate me for going off about this, but I mean, I firmly believe that the series was won because Doughty got suspended for a clean hit. He got suspended for a clean hit, and then meanwhile you have Kopitar getting jabbed in the face with somebody's butt end of their stick. No penalty there, no suspension there. It's just been ridiculous, and George Peros just turns a blind eye to all of it, and it's been going on for years now, and it's like, when does it end? Is somebody going to die on the ice soon? Like, I'm seriously concerned because hockey is one of the most dangerous sports out there, and people are just like crossing the line all the time. Something is going to happen soon, and I feel like we need to stop the problem before it gets any worse. Because I feel like if we continue to let George Peros do what he does and operate the Department of Player Safety the way that it does, I almost guarantee you within the next 5 years something bad's going to happen. Like we get a career-ending injury or something because of something dirty.
Right. And even Panarin, I know it's close to the end of the season, so say what you will about a season-ending injury, but you hate to see one of the best players in hockey get injured, and I don't care if there's 1 game left in the season or 50 games left in the season. It is a season-ending injury. That's something that he's going to have to spend weeks, perhaps months recovering in the offseason. And I don't want to say it, but with any injury, there's a chance you're never the same with any sport and any contact sport, or I guess any sport in general. But it sucks, and I do agree that the NHL has to do something because, like, if I play NHL, like the video game, I don't mind. Like, oh, whatever. These guys aren't actually getting hurt. But in real life, there are consequences, and I think Tom Wilson is a menace to the NHL at this point.
Absolutely. And if you're bottom line, if you're going to have a league where fighting is legal and the only punishment is a penalty, you got to be very like understanding, like these are the risks that come with it. And if somebody does cross the line, you have to do something about it. And like the fact that Tom Wilson can do something as egregious as this and get away with only a $5,000 fine and not be suspended any games, you're okay with that player sticking around for doing
injury heavy. We talked about MLB injuries. We talked about the Tom Wilson ugliness there. And I'm going to bring us to one of the best players in the NBA, Mr. Zion Williamson. I believe he is out for the season. The Pelicans released an update. The Pelicans announced today that Ford Williamson underwent a series of diagnostic testing at yesterday prior to the team's departure for Philadelphia. A CT scan revealed a fracture to his left ring finger. That's this one. He will be sidelined immediately. A treatment plan and timetable for his return to play will be determined upon further evaluation.
Sidelined indefinitely is what it says.
At this point, I do think that ends his season. Like they don't say that because you don't want to destroy your fans.
Yeah, you don't want to like just tell your fans, oh yeah, Zion's out for the year.
Yeah, but
I guess
I sincerely doubt he plays again this season. The Pelicans are, I believe, far enough out of the playoffs that it doesn't matter. And this is an amazing season. 27-7, 61% from the field.
Jesus.
No one ever has been that efficient. And say what you will about his defense, I would love to see his rebounding be higher, and I would love to see the Pelicans win more. But this is a fundamentally dominant season from Zion. This is his second year in the league, and he hasn't even played a full season. Remember,
he's a freak of nature.
Yeah, he played. It was a COVID season last year. He didn't play all that often. anyways because he's injured half the time. And then this year, it's only a 72-game season, not an 82, and nagging injuries here or there, rest, whatnot. But 27-7, there are a few guys that do that anyways. And this guy was shooting 61%. This is as close as I think we've seen to that 04, 05, 06 LeBron that it's kind of like I guess Giannis a couple years ago that he can't shoot. He's not going to shoot, but you can't stop him going to the basket. And I guess Giannis now, but Giannis is, I guess, a little bit better at it.
Yeah.
Zion is just so explosive. His 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" frame, 280 pounds, something like that. He is such an explosive athlete going to hoop that he gets blocked a lot, sure, but the consistency with which he finishes is as it's unbelievable to watch. Again, 61% as a forward, and granted, a lot of his shots are coming from around the rim. I get it, but he's 6'6", getting to the rim as easy as anyone in the NBA. Ooh.
That's absurd. That is completely absurd. Yeah, that's gonna be tough to see the NBA just as a follower of the NBA, seeing someone like Zion not being able to play. It definitely hurts the sport for sure.
Absolutely.
And then we have the Lakers also getting screwed by injuries again. They've been getting screwed by it all year. They started their last game against the Clippers without LeBron, without Dennis Schroeder, without Talen Horton-Tucker, and then Anthony Davis leaves the game with back spasms. Thankfully, he said that he was okay. He said that he felt better after getting the treatment in game. So he says he expects to play the next game, which is good, or which is today, actually. I don't know who they're playing, but I think Portland, actually. Yeah, they're playing the Blazers. But, yeah, I mean, it sucks. The Lakers are just it's frustrating as a Lakers fan knowing that we have the team to run it back, but everybody's getting hurt all the time. And it's like, now there's this whole uncertainty of the play-in tournament that happens.
Precisely.
What are your thoughts on that, by the way? I think that's a little weird.
See, I liked it for last year, and I actually like it for this year because it is a goofy season. They're only playing 72 games. Next year, moving forward, maybe not. But I do think you're going to have some great basketball. And currently, the matchups, you have Miami, Charlotte, and then Indiana, Washington. And then the West, you have Portland, Golden State, Memphis, San Antonio. And I don't know if you guys know how it works. The 7 plays the 8 seed. The winner of that game is guaranteed to be the 7 seed. The loser goes to the next game. The 9 seed versus the 10 seed, the winner of that goes to that extra game. The loser is out. So let's say Miami beats Charlotte, Indiana beats Washington. So it's Miami as the 7 seed, and then it's Charlotte versus Indiana to get that 8 seed. So right now you're looking at Lillard versus Curry. You're looking at Ja Morant in the playoffs. You're looking at Miami, who has all this talent. They have Jimmy Butler. They have Bam, but they haven't put it together all season. And Washington as a 10 seed, I'd be terrified of Washington. If you're Philly, I don't think you'd rather play Charlotte. You'd rather play Miami, probably. Miami, Charlotte, or Indy. I don't think you want to play Washington. What Russell Westbrook is playing on a different stratosphere right now. So, I mean, I actually like the expansion playoffs for this year. I liked it for baseball last year, but moving forward, I'd probably scrap it.
Yeah, I'm kind of exactly where you're standing on this. I think that in a shortened year like this, where things are a little bit crazy, and we have the shortened season, sure, it's a nice little gimmick, I guess, for lack of a better word, that they throw in there. And yeah, for last year too, it makes perfect sense because the NBA kind of wanted to give teams a fair shot because they had to cut the year off, and not every team had played an equal amount of games, so they wanted to do something that was maybe a little more fair to people who just came close. So I think that this is, for the shortened year, fine. But going forward, I think you get rid of this. You can't. It kind of ruins the whole integrity of the playoffs. The whole point of the playoffs is if you fall short, you fall short.
Right. That's
so
fair.
In a future season, don't do this. Definitely, once you get back to the whole 82 games, then just go back to normal,
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I've had some pushback with the 1 through 16 seeding which if it was 1 through 16 seeding this year, I believe it would be the top 9 teams of the West and the top 7 teams in the East. If I can read properly. But I've had some pushback on that. I want to keep it 1 through 8 in both conferences. There's going to be unevenness. I get it. It happens in every sport. There was a 10-6 team in the NFL that missed the playoffs in Miami, an 8-8 team that made it in Chicago.
And do we even need to really mention the NFC East?
Yeah, they got the NFC least over there. So,
forgive me, NFC least.
Yeah. I still think the Rams are on top, right? They won 4 games in the division.
Yeah.
Did any other team in the NFC East win 4 games in the division? I don't believe so.
That's a good question.
Football.
No, 100%.
As you hear every single click I have, Washington football team.
Football is a weird sport.
Yeah,
That's a really weird sport. You have the Rams beating every team, sweeping the NFC East, and then losing to the Jets. That's the life.
You can't believe you still lost the Jets. Speaking of the Jets, we have a clip. This Jets fans, I know you probably
Jets
hate
fans,
us.
get excited.
Here we go. So, if you're a Jets fan and you bleached your eyes because you've been watching Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Christian Hackenberg, Bryce Petty, guys like that, if you bleached your eyes and you couldn't see that, well, that was your boy Zach Wilson throwing to your other boy Elijah Moore. That's the number 2 pick throwing to the number 34 pick. That's a lot of talent right there. I mean, I know it's like a 10-second clip from practice and it's a wide open throw, but I would imagine Jets fans are really happy to see Wilson in a Jets uniform finally, Elijah in a Jets uniform finally. And
shout out to Twitter, by the way, for reminding me that Elijah Moore was the guy who did the P celebration and cost the team a game. That was that was a fun little moment.
Click. Ah, yes, there we are.
I mean, he's a solid player. I think the Jets fans should be very happy about him, but yeah.
I love when anyone does the celebration. I love it.
I love it. I don't think it's disrespectful. I don't think it's it's a guy having fun. It's a big game. Go crazy.
Absolutely.
Maybe don't do what like Randy Moss did, but
yeah. Oh yeah. No. That's iconic. At Lambeau, are you kidding me? Yes. And this was in Starkville too in the Egg Bowl. So I love it, Elijah Moore. If I was a Jets fan, I would 100% buy your jersey ASAP.
I'd hold off on the Zach Wilson jersey though, because I feel like there's been some debate about is he going to stick with wearing number 2.
I believe he's going to be wearing number 2. Speaking of, actually, we're going to share our own stuff. Got that U Stadium stuff. Jack? What are your thoughts on the jersey number changing? If like quarterbacks can wear whatever. Well, I guess quarterbacks can change. Defensive backs can wear like 2. Running backs can wear 9. Linebackers can wear 14. What you thinking? What you thinking about it?
What I feel like I need to see it in game.
Okay.
We polled people on the app. We basically asked, do they the options were, do you love it? Do you hate it? Or are you not sure yet? I voted for not sure yet.
I voted for yes, I love it.
Like right now, as of right now, I'll say I don't have a problem with it. I think it's really unique. I think it opens the door for a lot of number changes. I think the Rams just revealed some of their rookie numbers a couple minutes ago while we were live, and one of them was at 32 or 31. So Darius Williams is getting a number change. So he might be going single digits.
I feel like your defensive backs just cycle through numbers.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I know Troy Hill was wearing.
He was wearing in 2018. I remember he was wearing 32, and then somehow he changed to 20. I didn't hear about that.
Weddle, right?
Weddle wore 32 in 2019. Mm-hmm. Hill wore 20 in 2019, and then he had to change it to 22 because Jalen Ramsey wanted 20.
Right, and here's the Rams. I think that one. Cool. So got 2-2. which I still think is a horrendous pick. Sorry.
Yeah, I think he's an okay player, and who knows if he goes off, he goes off. But I don't like the pick in the second round. Yeah, there's the guy I was talking about, Robert Rochelle. I don't know how you pronounce that, but yeah, he's wearing.
I know Holden's a huge fan of Jacob Harris.
Yeah, I like the Jacob Harris pick. That's really
Brown,
good.
Jake Funk, who I think is
Jake
the best
Funk. I
in
love.
the class. I love the name. Ben Skowronek. How do you feel about that name?
I'm gonna have a hard time saying that one.
And then Chris Garrett, much easier name to say. So yeah, the Rams just released their team jersey numbers.
Miami did theirs today as well. If you want to look for that one.
Yeah, I will. I think I can find it on.
I guess now's a good opportunity to kind of give a brief little thought on their draft. It was okay. I don't like them taking a wide receiver so early, but I think that they said it was mostly going to be a depth draft anyway. I feel like offensive line maybe needs a little more help, but who knows? I know a lot of teams are starting mini camp soon, so we'll see where that goes. So I thought they did okay, though. I didn't think it was like the most horrendous draft in the world.
I didn't like it.
I don't like it, but I don't love it.
All right, so I have a list.
I don't hate it. I mean,
so out of these guys, who are you excited to see their new jersey number? I'll throw it up on screen. Patrick Peterson with the Vikings is going to wear 7. Buda Baker with the Cardinals is going to wear 3. Emmanuel Sanders is switching to 1. Darius Slay is switching to 2. Leonard Fournette is switching to 7. Jason Verrett is dropping a 2 and going to regular 2. Kyle Pitts, 484 in college. He's going to wear 8 with the Falcons. Elijah Moore is just going to chill out with 8. Jamar Chase wearing 1. Devontae Smith wearing 6 like he did in college. Will Fuller going from 15 to 3. Alan Hearns going from 17 to 8. Albert Wilson from 15 to 2. Noah Igbenogany, my guy, 23 to 9. Joe Tryon for the Bucs is going to wear 9. And Jalen Darden, also for the Bucs, is going to wear 1. What numbers out of that do you like? Do you dislike? How you feeling?
I'm not liking Patrick Peterson's. I liked him as 21.
PP21 looks. I think that's a nice like nickname.
Yeah. Emmanuel Sanders. I guess that one's okay. Buda Baker's is okay. I like Leonard Fournette's from 28 to 7. I actually like that with Fournette. I think it's because I don't know why I remember him wearing 27 at one point. Did he wear that with Jacksonville? Yeah. So I like the 7. Kyle Pitts wearing 8. I like.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm pretty much neutral to the rest of these. Anyone who wears number 1 is basically copying my customized Rams jersey.
I like Joe Tryon in 9. I do like Igbenogany at 9. If I have a Dolphins jersey already, but if I were to get another one, I think an Igbenogany 9 would look cool. I don't know how his name works on a nameplate, but it would be cool if it like stretched around the 9 like baseball jerseys.
Yeah, I think they just make the letters smaller. Like the letters are like thinner.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
And they have to fit it inside the nameplate.
Who do you think has the best name in the NFL?
Jake Funk. Currently playing.
I mean, I like Equanimous St. Brown.
Who has the best? I need to think. That's a good question.
Yeah, I definitely should have asked you, not on the spot.
Jake who's that one guy for the Bucks? The guy Vita Vea. He has like a really long name.
Oh yeah, I'll look that one up. I know Tua is like Tua. It is a long name. Like there's a lot of characters in that one.
It's long name. Tua I can't even pronounce that.
Okay, I'm gonna drop this. Here we go. We're gonna add a banner. Prepare your eyes. This is how long Vita Vea's name is. And I'll do Tua's as well. I'll throw that in a banner. Tua only has the first and the last name. Actually, I don't know how Hawaiian naming works, but that's the wrong button.
You get a really long first name, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, he has a really long last name to begin with. So shout out to Dolphins fans on the app. We have that. Try to spell that for your spelling bee.
I tried to pronounce it and I failed. I just can't do it.
I mean, you got Tavita Tuli Akaono Tuipiloto Mose Vahai Fahoko Falatu Vea. I didn't screw that up 100%, but like what a name! What a name! Shout out to Hawaii. Is Vea from?
Tunga Vailoa.
Oh no, Vea's from
his last name,
California.
apparently.
Huh?
Apparently, Wikipedia says it's pronounced Tunga Lavoy. Yeah. I can't do it.
I always say Tagovailoa. It's Tungavailoa, which I don't understand how you get an N anywhere in there. Because like even on like I'll pull the.
I don't
pronunciation
question it,
here.
you know.
This is how people. Delete. Oh, wrong one. Oh my goodness. There we go. This is how like Tua Tunga Vailoa. Like how? Where is the N? Where is the tongue? It's TAG. How is that an N?
I honestly just don't question it at this point. It's how they do it in Hawaii. That's just how it is, I guess.
I want to go to Hawaii one day. Where's your dream spot?
Yeah, I think I want to go to Hawaii. I know our family's saving up to go there at some point. That'd be fun to go there. I know the Rams played a preseason game in Hawaii a couple of years ago.
All right, and we're gonna jump into some spicy takes. We got a lot of comments today. The people were bopping today. What a time to be alive. Got that U Stadium screen share. Bang, bang, bang.
I haven't seen any of these hot takes yet, so.
I feel bad for substitute teachers trying to pronounce these names.
Same.
I think I had some pretty solid subs, but when people call me Brian, like that annoys me. Jack, do people screw up your name?
People have called me Jake before. Shout out to Frankie, who's done the same a couple times. He's called me Jake.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see Ryan and Brian. I can see Jack and Jake. Yeah, but let's get into some of these hot takes. Let me open up some comments. All right, here we go. We got Baker BGX M4 MVP saying BGX M4 MVP. That's Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield.
MVP. I could see it. You know, this Browns team is loaded. They have one of the best rosters in the NFL. Odell is coming back, so I know there's some like goofy things with Odell that maybe he hurts them. Maybe he helps them. I don't know, but you know,
I think that's a wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. Baker's an interesting one.
Yeah, I'd say this is on. I would put this on Chili de Arbol. I don't think it's too hot of a take, but I do think that it's definitely possible.
I'll pull that up and I'll just read them off from my phone. That's cool.
If you're a Browns fan and you had the you were on the hype train that they had going in 2019, I think that they started calling it the hype train then.
Mm-hmm.
And you did not jump off. Shout out to you, because the hype I think is definitely a lot more real now in Cleveland. Like, this is a team that has a shot at winning the division.
I think they should be favored to win the division. I know Vegas doesn't think so. Vegas still has the Ravens. I have money on Cleveland. So
if it's not Baltimore, it's Cleveland, 100%.
I think
we know Pittsburgh. We both know Pittsburgh won't get another fluky 11-0.
Najee Harris helps out a lot.
True.
Man, it sucks that one of my happiest moments ever as a Ravens fan is us drafting Bateman, and 30 seconds later I was talking about how the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl. Moving along
so we can avoid further splash pain.
Yeah, we got Bam Bam. He says the Jets deserve to be an NFL team. I think that's Carolina. That's above Carolina Reaper.
The Jets should be improving, though. I feel like obviously Zach Wilson, big help. Elijah Moore, big help. We just talked about that.
I got one for you. I got one for you. This is from our friend of the show. He's commented. Shout out to Tixa. The Rams are going to win the 2042 Super Bowl. How are we feeling?
The 2042 Super Bowl.
Yes.
Milk, right? I mean, of course they are. I don't know.
They're going to win the next 20, right? Matthew Stafford's going to play until he's $1 million.
Sean McVay is going to be the head coach until beyond death.
Realistically, McVay could be the head coach because he's 37, right? He's still.
I don't even think he's 37. I think he's like 34 or something.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, he could be. I mean, I don't know. With aging technology, I mean, you're talking. We could have a centurion of a head coach, Sean McVay, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Tom Brady would still be playing.
Breaking: we have Sean McVay versus Tom Brady in the 100th Super Bowl.
Is Sean McVay now playing quarterback?
Yes.
I mean, he's played quarterback before, by the way, and he's done some crazy things. If you've seen his like high school highlights,
Oh boy.
yeah, I mean, it's obviously too far ahead in the future to make a realistic prediction on this.
Heck, it's hard to make a 2022 prediction, let alone 2042. So
I would love to see them win a Super Bowl at any time. I'll just go with that.
right, absolutely. All right, moving on. This is from Bomba Squad. Kellen Mond's career above Justin Fields' career. How are we thinking?
Where did Kellen Mond even get drafted again?
Minnesota, 66th pick. Shout out to the Jets for that one.
That's a good question.
I'm rolling. I'm going to say Scotch Bonnet. Fields has an easy way to start. I still like Kirk Cousins. I think he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
So Mond is going to be 3-4 years behind the 8 ball, and I don't think he's going to a situation that will be as good as Chicago is right now. Minnesota's good, don't get me wrong, but do you trust them to be that good in 3 years? I don't know. I think Chicago is more set up for like long-term success as soon as they found the quarterback. Minnesota, they have a good quarterback and they're not having success. So yeah. I would say Scotch Bonnet there. I mean, I think Mond can be a good player, and it's a great spot for him, but it's not a great spot for him to have a better career than Justin Fields.
Absolutely. And I again, shout out to the Bears for finally doing something right at QB.
Yeah, shout out to the Bears. They have the best quarterback in the history of the franchise on the team now. Congratulations. Whew. Exciting time to be a Bears fan. Speaking of Bears, we got fail for Fields. Brady is a top 20 quarterback of all time. How are we thinking?
He's not top 1.
Yeah, I mean, I mean,
that's
actually, I don't think we've had this conversation on the show. That I don't think
we have.
I don't think he's the most talented, but he is the greatest.
Yeah, that's. I think you've mentioned that like once or twice. That's basically where I'm at. But like, for his age, I would say he's definitely.
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah, because is he the most talented ever for his age? Yes, I think he is for his age because he's
That's fair.
Like when
he doesn't have any competition. But,
what is he? Yeah. That's true.
40, but like he's 43, going to turn
43.
I believe.
And you see some of the throws that he's making in the Super Bowl and stuff, and it's like at his age, he has no business doing that. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So,
all right, here we go. We got JWD, friend of the show, actual friend of the show. He came
on the show. So.
Yeah, Jamar Chase will flop in Cincinnati, but will become a very good receiver for another franchise after his rookie contract ends. Imagine how sad that would be for Cincinnati. You pass on Sewell to draft this generational wide receiver, and he stinks it up like the last wide receiver you drafted in the top 10. And then he goes somewhere else. For the sake of this, let's say he goes to like Carolina. I don't know. And then he just balls out.
Oh, that would be.
Speaking of Carolina Reaper, I think Jamar Chase will be an exceptional player with Cincinnati. And I'd be surprised if the 2026 Bengals do not feature Jamar Chase. I would be very surprised.
This is giving me some real LA Kings vibes because I know it's a completely different sport, but it just kind of reminds me of how they've sort of recently had a tendency where their rookies are like struggling and then they go to another team and they immediately just start kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm kind of with you on this one, Carolina Reaper.
All right. Okay. Antifa Alec, friend of the show, commented, Bears go at least 10-7 this year or next year. I like it. I like it a lot.
I like that, actually.
I think they should start Fields week 1.
I mean, is it even a question?
They should. It is a question because they have Andy Dalton. But
it's sad that it is a question, though, because it's Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, or Nick Foles. I would start Fields every time, 10 out of 10 times.
All right.
I'm starting Fields.
You might like this one. This is from AV22. Zach will be the best Wilson in the NFL in 3 years. Tom Wilson? Anyone? Does he have a second
Tom
wave?
Wilson coming to the NHL.
Yeah, he's gonna come to the NFL. He's gonna be
NFL.
He's gonna be a 2-down linebacker, and he just whacks 99 hit power, but has like 2 speed. Not speed, like coverage ability. That's a pretty hot take.
Obviously, we know that the other Wilson we're talking about here is Mr. Unlimited himself, Russ.
Dangerous.
I mean, it really depends on if Russell Wilson can, find that consistency he's been looking for over the next 3 years. 'Cause it feels like when the Seahawks, when their offense gets hot, their defense gets cold, and when their defense gets hot, their offense gets cold. And it's like Russ goes from having an MVP season in the first 5 weeks, and then immediately it's a steep decline, and he just drops off a cliff, and he's throwing picks everywhere. He's still one of the most talented QBs in the league. His escapability is ridiculous, except when he's playing the Rams because Aaron Donald. But I would say 3 years is a little bit short. Obviously, the potential is there for Zach Wilson, but you also have to kind of consider that I would say the Seahawks have been working at giving Russ a better supporting cast, and the Jets are still, I would say, in the middle of their rebuild. Because obviously, the Zach Wilson pick, it helps them for sure, but they're not going to just instantly go to competing for Super Bowls yet, because that's just how rebuilds work. So it's going to take them a little bit of time. I would say 3 years from now, the Seahawks have a better chance at winning a Super Bowl than the Jets would. So
I'm going to take this in a slightly different direction. If you assume that Russell Wilson's just going to fall off a cliff, then this looks a lot better. But not only does this assume, I guess it doesn't assume anything, but I think when I think of this, I think Russell Wilson will be a top 5 quarterback for the next 3 years. This means Zach Wilson has to jump into the top 5. That's a really high jump.
Yeah, that's a tall order.
Granted, I know it's the numbers don't really mean. I know the numbers don't really mean anything. Lamar Jackson being my number 7 quarterback doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I think Wilson can be very good, and I talked about it ad nauseum on the draft shows. I think he's QB2 in this draft, but better than Russell Wilson. I think I don't know. I'm leaning like habanero.
Yeah, that's about kind of where I'm at. Habanero, ghost pepper, somewhere like that. I'm not necessarily doubting or just assuming whether that he'll drop off a cliff. I'm just kind of questioning his consistency.
That's fair.
He's been inconsistent.
He falls off a cliff within the
for
season.
a long time. So
all right,
we'll see.
Dane with the Kings AVI. Fishing is fun.
I haven't fished before. I can't really speak to this.
I haven't been fishing in a very long time. Shout out to my grandmother if she's listening. We went to I forget where it was, in North Carolina, maybe Virginia. We went to I had a fishing camp, and I almost caught a bass. So that was pretty cool.
Damn. Yeah. The only thing about fishing, I remember just being a little kid wanting to go fishing, and somebody told me I had to have a fishing license, and I was like, I don't know how to get one of those, so I guess I can't go fishing.
It happens. Yeah. All right. This is from Nick L. Zach Wilson busts. So we got Zach Wilson's going to be better than Russell Wilson, and then we have Zach Wilson busts. Which one do you think is more true?
Between those two, knowing the history of the Jets, I'm kind of tempted to say he busts, but I think he's too good to bust. I think he's going
to be very good in the NFL.
Yeah. I think that the other scenario is more likely than him just straight up busting. So this is Carolina Reaper for sure.
I probably go Tabasco. Even in today's NFL, where the scouting is off the charts, players bust. So I don't want to say Carolina Reaper. I think Trevor Lawrence would be Carolina Reaper level.
Yeah, sure.
There's a solid chance that Zach busts, whether it's the situation or lack of talent, whatever it may be. I'm going to go Tabasco right in the middle. I don't think he will, but there's obviously a chance he does. We got Tiller White. Murray should have played baseball. This is in reference to Kyler Murray, who, of course, was a top 10 pick in baseball and the number 1 pick in football. What are your thoughts?
Would he have, it makes you wonder, would he have had an impact on the Oakland A's, who were the team that drafted him?
I don't think, was he a 2018 draft pick? I don't think he'd be in Major League Baseball right now.
No, he was a 2018 pick. He would not be in MLB right now. He would be in the minors.
Yeah, in the last 2 years, if there wasn't COVID, maybe he's in the majors now. But I do think he made the right decision because he's going to make a lot of money playing quarterback.
Yeah, that's true too.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. We got Tiksa once again. The U.S. men's national team will win one of the next 3 World Cups. So we got 2022, 2026, 2030. Do you think the U.S. men have a shot in any of them? Because I don't. I don't think the U.S. is going to.
We're talking about the U.S. men's now. I know that this is like a long way from now. So or like 20. What did you say? 2033.
2022. Okay, do 2022. So next winter, 2026, 2030.
2030. I don't know why I said 2033 as an odd numbered year, but I know that's a long way away from now. But are we talking about the same U.S. men's national team that failed to qualify because they lost to Trinidad and Tobago?
Correct.
Carolina Reaper. I mean, they're not. Yeah. It doesn't look good.
I'm probably leaning Scotch bonnet. Like it's up there. Like in theory, the Americans should have enough talent to at least make the World Cup, and anything can happen if you make the World Cup, I guess. But I don't know. I don't see it. I just don't see it. Yeah. Sorry, but I don't see it. Shout out
again. It would be nice. It would be really nice to see that happen, but it's probably not going to happen. I mean,
imagine how crazy this country would go if we won the friggin'
I know, right? Like, and I'm just out here begging them to even qualify for one.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on.
Oh man, so that's gonna wrap us up for today. Any last words before we skedaddle?
I probably got nothing this time around.
It happens.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Darius Williams do number. That's what I'll.
Yeah, love me some Darius Williams. And guess what? I'm a senior now. So exciting times.
We're moving on up in the world. You're a senior. Yeah. I am 2 weeks off of my second dose. So I'm fully vaccinated now. So
nice. That's nice. I got
life is good.
I've been fully vaccinated, I believe, for 18 days. I can't count. It's not 20 days. Today's the 7th. I think I've been fully vaccinated for 13 days now. So that's exciting. That's going to wrap us up today. Hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you smash the like button, get them upvotes flowing.
Subscribe to the official U Stadium YouTube and turn on those notifications because we got plenty of stuff coming.
Ding, ding, the bell. Yes, sir. And we might even have some pre-recorded content. I've been talking about it with Frankie. Maybe.
We used to do pre-recorded content. We did those are the old timeout episodes that happened a long time ago.
Yeah, those were a long time ago.
Yes.
I didn't even produce those. Those were a long time ago. So we will be back next Saturday. I will be in a different location. This will not be white. It might be a totally different color. I don't remember what. I guess my room's gray, but I don't want to do it in my room. But that's beside the point. I might go to the library. I haven't been to the library back home in a long time. Anyways, we're dragging along here. Stay tuned. We got some more banger content. We have some more shows coming up. We might do trivia in a couple weeks. We're ready. We're gonna tackle this summer big time. We got 3 months to kill before the NFL cares. So let's get it. So thank you for joining us today. Again, drop a like, drop a sub, turn that bell on, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on U Stadium. I'm at Splash. He's at Jack Mitchell. Make sure you spell it out because there are some Jack Mitchell troll accounts with eyes in weird places. With that said, we're done.
We'll see you next week.